Hello, you're back. You're back for more. You're back for more pain and suffering. Or maybe you're just back to hear me talk a load of bollocks about our top 100 board games of all time. This is number 40, down to 31. We are rapidly approaching the arse end of this series. So sit tight, don't mess yourself. Let's get on with it. Eh? Bollocks. So number 40 is a game by Paolo Mori, and I'm going to say it again, Paolo. Get off your arse and design an expansion for Ethnos. But this game isn't Ethnos because Ethnos has already been spoken about. This is a game called Dogs of War. In Dogs of War, you'll be taking control of an army. You'll be hiring different troops that you will use to gain control of one side of a battle, which you'll be representing different houses, and you'll be placing your miniatures on the board to convey how much influence you have in that battle. This is a game of shifting relations. 1 minute you will be teaming up with your Aunt Mabel in order to stick your halberd into Uncle Albert's anus, and on the next turn then that halberd will be coming your way and will be stuck up your arse. If you are on the winning side, you will get a pick of some rewards, and like all Paolo Mori games, this is a very, very simple affair. The backstabbing nature of this one and the shifting alliances means that it is a rip-roaring time for all. It's got some really nice CMON miniatures in there. If you like backstabbing games, then you really must seek this one out because it is super. Number 39 on this list is a dice placement game called Trois. In this game, you'll be rolling the dice and you'll be placing them in the centre of the board. Amazingly, everybody will have access to everybody else's dice. You'll be going to different locations. You might want to put a worker in the bishop's prick, or you might want to hire one of the craftsmen or women that are available. You've also got to be mindful that there is going to be some marauding terrorists appearing, or maybe some even more deadly threats appearing, so you want to make sure that you're ready for that shit. And there's a really, really decent expansion called Ladies of Trois, which allows you to gallivant around the castle walls, right? Trois has got that medieval artwork like Orleans has, and that really does amplify the theme, even though I suppose a lot of people would accuse us of being another soulless Euro. But the dice placement coupled with the card play means that I can't stop salivating over this one. It's like being force-fed half a grapefruit. Number 38 on this list is a game that is in stark contrast to the previous game that we just mentioned. This one is Xia, Legends of a Drift System. In Xia, you will be taking control of a spacecraft. You will be flying around a modular board, and basically you'll be able to do whatever the fuck you like. You can become a space pirate and rip people off, or you can become the space police and arrest the people that ripped you off. You can go to space stations to get booty, and you can flog that booty for cash. This game is a little bit random. There's going to be tiles that come out where you'll be required to roll a 20-sided die, and if you roll a certain number, you are just going to die. But the sandboxy type nature of this one, and the fact you could basically go and do whatever the hell you like, means that Xia, Legends of a Drift System, is an absolute classic Ameritrash game, right? Number 37 on this list is another game by our best mate, Reiner Knizia. This is the Race to El Dorado. This is a cross between a deck building game and a racing game. Basically what you'll be doing, everybody's going to start with a starting hand of cards. You'll be playing these cards onto the table that will allow you to take actions that move through jungle, or you'll be able to move through the desert, or you'll be able to move on water. Or you'll be able to use the coin cards to buy more cards, and you will add them to your deck and you'll cycle through the deck. You'll be trying to avoid pit traps on the way. You might be able to go to these, I think they're volcanoes or caves or something, and get these tiles that will give you extra stuff like one-shot abilities. But basically the first player to get to the finish line will win the game. I've never ever lost a game of this in my life. I played it 100 billion times and I have never ever lost one game. So if you think that you could beat me at the Race to El Dorado, just give me a shout. I'll meet up in a pub somewhere and I'll kick your arse, guaranteed. 36 on this list is a party game that involves weird, surrealist artwork. It's called Dixit. Everybody will be given a hand of cards that have got this weird sort of surrealist artwork on it, and you will choose a card and you will give a clue to the other players. It could be a gesture, it could be a word, it could be a sound, or whatever you want it to be. And then you'll add your card to a bunch of other cards and you put the cards out onto the centre of the table, and all the players will try and guess from your clue which card was yours. The thing is that the more players that get it correct, the less points you're going to get, and the less players that get it, the more points you're going to get. So you want to give a clue that is familiar to a few people, or maybe just one person, but isn't familiar to a lot of them. It's a very, very clever mechanic. There's a billion expansions for this. The game can't be played all the time because you're going to be cycling through the cards quite a bit. And it does help if you bring this out with new players because they're not going to have seen all the cards, right? But I think there's about 14 different small box expansions for this. I might be exaggerating like I usually am. But yeah, Dixit is a fantastic party game that interests traditionally non-gamers as well as board game and heroin addicts like you and me. Number 35 on this list is a game called Russian Railroads. This has been out of print for what seems like an eon. It's just been reprinted as Ultimate Railroads, but it cost over 100 quid, and that's just bloody stupid, isn't it? But basically, in this game, you will be trying to move your trains up certain tracks to score points. And these tracks are actually railroad tracks. You'll also be able to hire certain personalities or like engineers that will help you reach your destination. And as you move up the tracks, you'll be unlocking extra stuff, right? So the draw of this game is knowing which track to move up so you can unlock the best and most lucrative rewards when you need them most. We love the theme of Russian railways. We have got a bit of an interest in the old Soviet aesthetic. So for us, Russian railroads, it just slots right in there as a really palatable Euro game. And it's fantastic. Yeah, it is. Number 34 on this list is probably the greatest electoral game ever made. First released in 1986 by Karl-Heinz Schmiel, it is Die Macher. In this game, you will be trying to influence the outcome of a German election. Hang on a minute, bear with me. I know it sounds like dog shit. It actually isn't. It's actually one of the greatest games ever made. The game will tell you what the electorate wants to see in different regions, and you'll be trying to manipulate your party's policies based on what the electorate wants. They might want square tomatoes. They might want to adopt the euro. Or, in a strange twist of fate, they might not want square tomatoes or to adopt the euro at all. Die Macher is a long game. You're going to need about 4 hours of your life to get the most out of this. But if one of your secret fantasies is wank it off to the prospect of a Christian Democrats landslide, then maybe Die Macher is a game for you. Number 33 on this list is a game that isn't ever going to be reprinted. So you're going to have to go out and do some gun running, sell some cocaine in order to afford Forbidden Stars. This was a collaboration between Games Workshop and Fantasy Flight. It sees you take control of different factions in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. You'll be buying ships, you'll be floating around the galaxy trying to take control of different objectives. The thing that makes this game stand out is that when you take an action, you will place a token face down in the center of the area where you want to take it, and you will resolve these tokens from top to bottom, right? Again, this is another game that's going to take about 3 or 4 hours to play. It is a slow game. The combat system is a little bit counterintuitive. It uses dice and cards, and if two players are having a fight, you're just going to be sitting there twiddling your thumbs, right? So there's a few down points about it, but the theme is fantastic. It works really well with the game. It's just an absolute tragedy that this is never ever going to see a reprint or any expansions, but we've got it. You probably haven't got it. That makes me feel all sort of warm inside, right about here. Yeah, just here. Number 32 on this list is a game that has a bit of a cult following, but a lot of people either haven't heard of it or they've heard of it and they think it looks like complete and utter poo and don't want to play it. It's a game called Friedrich. This is a bit of a weird one actually, because everyone's going to be taking control of an army that was involved in the, I can't remember what war it was. It was like it was a war with Friedrich in it, right? But everyone's going to be taking control of an army like the French or the Prussians or the Austrians, and you'll be trying to maneuver your troops to take over objectives on the board. The weird thing is that Friedrich is regarded as a bit of a schizophrenic faction because he's going to have to switch alliances between some of the other factions, right? There's a novel mechanic where you'll be getting these tactic cards, and each of the tactic cards refers to a square on the board represented by a playing card suit, and you'll only be able to use a card containing that playing card suit in that particular region. Friedrich looks boring. It's just a map of Europe with a few tokens on it. The sheer tactics and strategy that is involved to forge a win, especially when you've got Friedrich being a bit of a loony bastard, means that this is actually quite a unique war game, and it's one that I urge all of you to have a crack at. So number 31 on this list is another war game, but this time we're going to go 5 or so thousand miles across the Atlantic Ocean to Canada. It's 1812, the invasion of Canada, a war that the United States lost and Britain won, I hasten to add. This game's best played with the full complement of 5 players. You've got the United States Army, you've got the American militia, you've got the Canadian Army, you've got the British Army, and you've got the Native American Indians facing off against each other on the US-Canadian border. You'll be playing cards from your hand that will allow you to move troops. You might be able to move troops across water if you're playing that sort of card. And then you'll be using dice to resolve combat. Your troops might run away like the cowards they probably were. Or you might be able to take your cutlass and slice off somebody's toes, like I've done 7 times today. One of the things that we find fascinating about this is that the Native American faction is a bit of an unknown quantity. You don't really know what you're going to get with them. And the lopsided nature of this game, where you've got 3 factions versus 2, but the US factions are a little bit more powerful, means that it's even, but yet uneven at the same time, right? It's just a fantastic card-driven, dice-driven war game. We've had loads of fun with over the years. So there you go. That is the one. I can't remember how many videos we've done on this so far, but that's been 40 down to 31. The next one is going to be 30 down to 21. I'll work that out all by myself without any help from you or my mum. So we hope to see you back for the, it's not penultimate, is it? I don't know what the word is for the 3 to the end, is it? Triultimate? But yeah, we hope to see you back for that one. But if you don't come back, we ain't going to miss you because we don't know who you are. See you next time.